Little did this band of brothers know what fate lay in wait for them. In August 1914, the Great War began, bringing death and carnage on a scale never before seen. The asylum boys, encouraged by Medical Superintendent Dr. Menzies, promptly enlisted in the British Expeditionary Force in a war considered just. Fred Archer, aged 27, and Arthur Skilton, aged 26, were among the first attendants to volunteer. They took the oath of allegiance to King George V in September 1914, signing a short service agreement for 3 years with the colours. The responsible medical officer noted that Skilton carried a scar on his right tibia as a result of football. But 3 years would not be enough time to settle this surreal madness. Trench warfare would claim many victims in northern France. North Staffordshire must have seemed a world away as the scaling ladders were fixed for the attack. Few would escape the deluge of bullets and shrapnel unscathed. Skilton and Archer, along with fellow attendants Joe Baker and Eddie Braun, were all seriously wounded. Asylum Centre forward Bob Holmes of the Notts and Derbyshire Regiment was shot in the face during hand-to-hand fighting through the trenches. Attendant Joe Hare, a talented singer and pianist, wrote home in the winter of 1916.
Perhaps by Christmas the war will be over and I will be with you all again. How we long for the time when we shall look back on these days and regard them as a dream, an ugly dream from which we shall have emerged, one dares to hope, into a better, safer, peaceful place.
But Joe would never return. He was killed on the Somme in 1917, along with fellow attendant Sid Creech. At Arras in 1917, the Tommies suffered terribly. Gassed, cold and lice-infected, they ate and slept in the trench. Freybantos corned beef and dog biscuits were their staple diet, with a monthly treat of Maconochie stew. Inspirational halfback Company Sergeant Major Fred Lewis, driving force of the asylum team, was killed on St. George's Day at Arras as the Tommies went over the top and into no man's land playing football. His body was never found. "Good morning, good morning," the General said, when we met him last week on our way to the line. Now the soldiers he smiled at are most of them dead, and were cursing his staff for incompetent swine. "He's a cheery old card," grunted Harry to Jack, as they slogged up to Arras with rifle and pack. But he did for them both by his plan of attack. War ended with Germany's surrender at 11 a.m. on November the 11th, 1918. Centre forward Bob Holmes survived his wounds and was affectionately known as the luckiest man alive on his return to Cheddleton Mental Hospital.